How is your Sunday going? Is it going well? I hope it is. We are back together again with English Addict, coming to you live and direct from the birthplace of the English language, which just happens to be England. We are back together again. It's so nice to be here with you. We are really super excited to be here today. Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan and
Mr. Steve.
Mr. Steve is here.
Special guest.
Yes, he is the special guest. He is the guest that is the guest every Sunday from 2 p.m. UK time is when we are on, and we are on now doing that very thing. So we are back together again. English Addict, for those who don't know what this is, it could be their first time, you see. You might be just clicking around the internet, bored on a Sunday, and suddenly you see our lovely handsome faces on the screen. Look at us, fine specimens of masculinity.
Real men.
Real men.
Yes.
Only real men.
We play rugby and football and other tough sports.
I like to get down and dirty in the mud.
Well, I did get down and dirty in the mud this morning, Mr. Duncan, because I was outside in the garden.
Again,
well, I have to do that every Sunday, maintenance. You've got to maintain things, otherwise they overgrow. And we've had atrocious weather. Atrocious. There's a good word to start off with.
Well, you used it.
Atrocious.
What does it mean?
Bad.
Yes.
A bad. Just a very bad. Atrocious weather.
Severe. Something that is severe, something that might be devastating. It is atrocious. So we had a lot of wind. Mr. Steve gets a lot of that. And we had a lot of rain. We've had flooding. We've had all sorts of weather. And I know today, Central Europe, if you are watching us at the moment in Central Europe, you are probably getting very similar conditions to the ones we had, because there is a huge storm heading across Central Europe.
Yeah, so have you got that? In Europe, Alessandra there from Italy, have you got a storm there? They've had flooding in Northern Ireland.
No,
yes. That was reported yesterday. We've had flooding all over England. We've had a lot of rain over the last month. Storm
Kieran.
We're always talking about the weather because that's what we always talk about in the UK, the weather.
Well, the reason is because everyone's talking about it because it's so severe. When you have really bad weather, of course, a lot of people get very excited. They say, oh, the weather is so terrible. And we've had bad weather, which is not good, unfortunately. Unfortunately, this weekend, a lot of people were hoping that the weather would be dry.
Because
today is the 5th of November. Remember, the 5th of November. Gunpowder, treason and plot. I see no reason why the 5th of November should ever be forgot.
English says Happy Guy Fawkes.
Yes.
Guy Fawkes, that's it, yes.
Although it's not very happy for Guy Fawkes.
It wasn't,
because he, along with some of his friends, decided to try and blow up the Houses of Parliament. A long time ago. Hundreds of years ago. I'm not sure if it was hundreds of years, but I've lost my train of thought now.
They tried to blow up the Houses of Parliament.
But they were caught. And they all came to a very rather unpleasant end. They took that sort of thing very seriously.
They wanted to make an example of them to put off people ever trying to do that again. And the common way to dispatch people in a cruel and painful way that would show everybody that, don't do this because this will happen to you, was to hung, draw and quarter people.
Yes, I don't even want to go into the details of what that is because, anyway, Steve, I wasn't going to give the details.
Yeah, well, it failed with Guy Fawkes because they hung him and he died straight away. You're supposed to hang people. They don't die. You're supposed to sort of cripple them. Then you cut them open while they're alive.
Steve.
It's not very nice.
You really...
Well, we've got to tell people the facts.
Yes.
English history and all that.
Okay. Most of it not very pleasant, by the way.
Or they tie you. That's the other thing they did.
Steve, okay. I've got to move on from that rather horrible subject.
They get 4 horses.
Steve.
And they tie your arms and legs to them and they get the horses to...
Steve.
Not very nice.
God. Okay. Interesting.
Guy Fawkes, that's what happened to you. That's what happens if you...
This is a person who has no idea of how annoyed and upset people are at the moment in the world. Please like this. Even though Mr. Steve was depressing you slightly, just...
Not depressing, it's just facts.
Oh, no, it's okay, Steve. We're not arguing about it. Please give me a lovely thumbs up and maybe we will try to give you something bright and happy. So today is Guy Fawkes Day or Guy Fawkes Night. Traditionally, people will set fire to a large pile of wood. They will burn it, and sometimes they will put a little effigy. Now, there is a word. Effigy.
Right, you used it.
Oh, effigy. Effigy is the likeness of something. So when you have an effigy, you are creating something that represents another thing. You see, I did know what it meant. So effigy, an effigy of Guy Fawkes. So they put him on the bonfire and they burn him. They burn his little effigy.
Made of sort of straw, and then you put some old clothes and a hat on. That's what we used to do when we were younger.
And what we used to do, we used to go around the streets with the little effigy and we would ask people for money. We would say, penny for the guy, penny for the guy. So we would ask for money as well. It was a great way of having a nice income stream on the 5th of November. It didn't work any other time, unfortunately. It only worked at that particular point. So tonight, I think a lot of people will be setting off their fireworks, having a bonfire. Some people were doing it last night. Of course, not everyone, Steve, is happy about that. Some people don't like fireworks, especially people who own dogs. Around here where we live, some people have dogs, and every year they become outraged and upset because of the fireworks. Now, I would have thought by now they would know that on the 5th of November people will be letting off fireworks. I think they should know that. But they always get upset because their little fluffy dog is getting a little upset because of it. Well, I suppose you could always put your fingers in the dog's ears, or maybe put something on its ears so it can't hear anything. Like that, you see. So a lot of people do become upset about that. It is November the 5th, and we are talking all about fire today. Isn't that interesting? Also, another thing I'm going to be asking in a few minutes. So think about this question. This is a question I'm also asking today, just for fun. We might have a few divorces occurring, but what annoying habit does your partner have? Does your partner have a particular annoying habit? So think about that now. I will be asking that question in a few moments. We all have annoying habits. I know I do. I think maybe I have annoying habits. Mr. Steve has so many. I think I would have to have a 5-hour live stream to tell you all of Mr. Steve's bad habits. So that's what we're talking about today. Also, we are looking at words and phrases connected to fire as well. And a very interesting subject, I hope that will be. We have the live chat, Mr. Steve. I see Vitas is here We also have Beatrice. Sash. Hello to you. Nice to see you back. Now, I do realise a lot of people can't always join us on the live chat or the live stream on Sunday. But I do understand, and it is always nice to see you back. Who else is here? Beatrice. And, we have, of course, the man who is so young at heart, Luis Mendes, is here today, Mr. Steve.
Yeah, Patrick's here as well. Patrick from Oos, who said that he's had damage to the tiles on his roof due to the storm which has gone over to Europe. So yes, some insurance damage there. You'll have to phone up your insurance company and claim on that.
So you're getting the weather that we had.
But in Venice, it's sunny and warm, says Alessandra. So it hasn't gone that far south, maybe.
It's raining at the moment here, by the way. For those wondering, it is raining outside.
It was beautiful and sunny this morning after yesterday, which was rained all day. It didn't stop at all. So we weren't able to go for our usual walk.
So unusual. We didn't go into town yesterday. So I thought that was really strange. It felt very unusual. Talking of fire, last night, for the first time, we actually lit the wood fire, the wood stove, and now we have a nice warm house. So just to show you how the weather has changed over the past few days, and now you know. Hello, Richard. Hello also, Antonio. Hello, Antonio. Nice to see you here as well. Can I say a very quick thank you to Pier Franca Ubertini for your lovely donation on PayPal. And I always appreciate your lovely donations. So thank you very much, Pier Franca Ubertini, for your lovely donation, which of course will help me to carry on doing this forever and ever. I hope, Mr. Steve, I can carry on doing this forever.
Well, if people want to watch you and if you get enough people watching, then you'll be able to carry on, obviously.
That is always a good thing.
That's a key factor.
It's very important to have viewers. Don't forget, give me a like.
Beatrice has had strong winds in the mountains.
Ooh.
But it's calm today. Claudia's got fish in the oven, and she says that although she hasn't got a partner, her father says that she's very annoying, which...
See, now we need more details.
Well...
Don't just say that and don't give us the details. We want to know why. What does your father say that you do that is annoying?
Well, you're looking after him. He should be very appreciative of what you're doing for him. I would have thought, but
we all have habits, don't we? We all have little things that are slightly annoying. So what annoying habit does your partner? It doesn't have to be your husband or wife, maybe a relative. Maybe someone you know, maybe a friend. In fact, anyone. Someone you know who has an annoying habit. Now, I think one of my annoying habits, and I know Mr. Steve hates this, is when sometimes we sit down at night to watch television, and I always become impatient with the television because there is never anything good to watch. Television is so rubbish. So what I tend to do is just go around the channels. And that drives Mr. Steve crazy.
Well, not crazy, but it is annoying, isn't it? When your partner you're watching the television, they've got the remote control and they're flicking through the channels.
Yes.
It's just, what am I supposed to be looking at here? It's annoying. You flick through channels when you're on your own, not when somebody else is with you.
I think you're right. But why is television so rubbish?
Lorella Bacci or Bacci says, my husband pretends to watch television, but he's asleep on the sofa.
Ah.
That's a good one. So maybe...
Somebody else does that.
Well, maybe your husband is working very hard and eventually he comes to sit on the sofa and then... he falls asleep.
So this is Mr. Steve's annoying habit. So we had my annoying habit, but Steve has the same habit where we sit down and Steve says, "Oh, let's watch that great program that we talked about." So I put it on, and then 10 minutes later I look at Mr. Steve, and this is what he looks like.
Well, you need to stimulate me, Mr. Duncan.
Oh, really?
I'm going to fall asleep unless I'm sufficiently stimulated.
So I have to find a way of stimulating you.
Yes. I mean, if the TV's boring, then if the program's boring, then you're just going to fall asleep. That's
We could always watch us, of course.
We used to watch ourselves, but we don't anymore.
No, because we feel so depressed afterwards.
Shafiq Daniel says, brothers are always fighting for the TV remote control.
Yeah.
Are they your children? Yes. Well, eventually they'll realise it's not worth fighting for because there's not much on that's worth watching.
So generally, in any relationship, you normally find one person always has control of the remote. And I have to say, quite often I do. But that's only because Mr. Steve gives me the task of finding good things to watch. And I have to say, these days, it's not very easy finding good programmes to watch on television.
Tom Rocks, hello Tom, asks an interesting question which is totally unrelated to what we're talking about at the moment. But he says, at the end of a job interview, so you've gone for a job interview, is it okay to say thank you for having me?
Probably not.
Well, yeah, what they say to do is, because if you say thanks for having, you don't want to sound too needy.
Also,
you want to,
it doesn't sound like it fits into that moment. I would say thank you for considering me, or thank you for giving me your time. So things like that, nothing too specific.
Well, I've been for job interviews recently, as you know. And so I went to an agency and they gave me advice. And they said the thing to do is to ask at the end of the interview, how do you think I've done? Is there any other information that you need? Is there anything that you think I haven't told you, that you qualities or experience that you think you need? Maybe there's something we haven't talked about. See what they say to that. And then when you and then ask them when are they likely to make a decision, and then they said to me, what you should always do is then when you get home, send them an email to the people, get the details of the people who interviewed you, and send them an interview and say, thanks for the interview. I look forward to hearing something like that to show your appreciation.
Yes.
Whether that works in your country, I don't know, but that's what they say to do. But
so it's a kind of politeness.
Yeah, I think it depends on the country to a certain extent and what your customs are as well.
That's it.
So where are you, Tom?
So I would probably end with thank you for allowing me to see you today. Thank you for...
That's the same thing.
So it is kind of, yes, well, I'm just saying, yes, it is giving me your time. I suppose you could use it, but it seems a little odd for that moment in time. Of course, job interviews, I think it has to be the most stressful thing that you have to go through, especially if you go for a job and maybe you are unsure if you are qualified to do it. Maybe you are not sure. And of course, the worst question they always ask when you go for a job interview, the worst question is, why do you want to work for our company? Or why do you want this job? Or why do you feel you are suitable for this particular job? It's a horrible question. So I always make sure that I prepare that one straight away. So I have had some very successful job interviews in the past where I've made sure that something was in my head already. So prepare before you go for a job interview. I think
there's lots on the internet about how to do that.
I await your answer. That's a good one. Thank you, Saturino. Yes, I look forward to hearing your answer, or I look forward to hearing from you in the future. So yes, maybe you can leave on a positive note. I like
You don't
that.
want to sound too needy. You want them to think that, in a way, you're not arrogant, but if you're too sort of, oh, thank you so much for, it can come across as a bit too needy, like,
Desperate.
they're a bit desperate. So
You seem desperate, as if you're begging.
yes, it's got to be a fine balance there, but at the same time, you want them to think, this person's got some confidence, and maybe, you don't want to, be too needy, I would say. But I'm not an expert.
It is a subtle thing, very subtle, I think, job interviews. Of course, the first thing they do whenever you go for a job interview, they look at you. That's it. That is the most important part of any job interview, those first few seconds, because quite often they will come to some sort of decision just by seeing you, and then they will speak to you and talk to you and ask you questions. But those first impressions, the first moments of the interview,
They pretty much make up their minds in the first couple of minutes, most people, just by your general attitude and everything.
personally, I hate job interviews. I don't like them at all.
Anyway, we're not talking about job interview. I didn't mean this to drag on for this long.
Well, I've actually been on the other side of the desk, Steve, when I was living in China, because we had to employ teachers. And at one point, I was the person who was on the other side of the desk.
The interviewer.
Yes. So I was actually one of the people. There would be 3 people, and I was one of those people. And they would ask me if I wanted to ask any questions to the person applying for the job. So, yes, even I was able to make that decision. I could take them on or I could reject them. The power that I had. Ooh, very nice. Don't overreact during a job interview. That's the other one. Yes. I suppose you have to keep your personality on a very straight level. So don't be too enthusiastic or too excited. They might actually think you could be a bit crazy. Something like that. So do we have any more comments about annoying habits?
We don't at the moment.
Oh, okay then. Well, I will put it on the screen. If you would like to give me an annoying habit that your husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, even your sons, daughters, or anyone, because we all have them. We all have annoying habits. Mr. Steve sometimes complains that sometimes, not always, but if I don't do maybe some of the chores, like wash the dishes, or maybe putting the knife and fork on the table, sometimes Steve, he doesn't get annoyed, but he just asks me in a rather strict way, could you put the knives and forks on the table? Or if the heating is being on in the house, Steve will ask, so are you warm enough?
Well, the thing with Mr. Duncan is now heating is expensive, is it not? If you live in a cold country that requires heating in the winter.
Like here?
You will know. And the thing is, Mr. Duncan, you see, it goes on in the morning.
Yes.
Okay, and I know full well that if I don't switch it off at some point, it will just stay on all day, wasting fuel. So once you're warm enough, turn it off, and then if you're cold, turn it back on again. But, Mr. Duncan just wouldn't switch it off. He'd just leave it on.
But I do like the way Mr. Steve tells me. So he's kind of telling me, but he's doing it in a very nice way. Are you warm enough now? Which means, Duncan, please turn the heating off. It's been on too long.
Well, I'd just turn it off.
Yes. And then Mr. Steve goes out, and then I turn it back on.
See, I don't like waste. I don't like wasting electricity, fuel. I like efficiency in things, efficiency in the car and what miles per gallon I'm getting. I just like efficiency. I don't like wasting food. I don't like throwing things away that aren't broken or clothes that haven't worn out. That's just a thing of mine.
Yes. But I have to stay warm. You wouldn't want me to be all cold.
Yes, but when you're just sitting
around my extremities.
in the middle of winter, Mr. Duncan, shorts and a T-shirt is not, ideal. If you put a jumper on and some trousers, the heating could be lower.
Anyway, you're being very specific now.
That's it.
Just generally. So that's another annoying habit that I have that Mr. Steve gets a little annoyed about. There are many that Steve has as well. There are many. Many.
To you they are. To other people they would be endearing. They would be something to be thankful for.
Sometimes Mr. Steve gets very distracted just before coming on here. And I have to say that is up there with my most annoying things that Steve does. Sometimes he likes to do lots of things on a Sunday morning. But of course, the most important thing you have to do, Steve, is be here with us. But he gets very distracted.
There are some other people there. You see efficiency, not wasting. Yes, I can see that some people are. Because it's wasting money, isn't it, as well? So water, I'm not very good at saving water because in the UK water's cheap and there's loads of it. So, it's not so. Although hot water, for example, if I'm washing some dishes or a saucepan in the sink and I need hot water, I won't leave the hot water running all the time. I'll run some hot water, then wash it and then start it again. Whereas some people will just keep the tap running all the time.
I don't do that.
And, empty half a tank of hot water for one saucepan or something.
Cleaning your teeth as well. Some people clean their teeth and they leave the water running. I don't do that either.
Right. Lewis.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
You go. You say it then.
No, you say it.
Lewis says the computer is too loud. So that's Lewis's wife is annoyed by the sound of the fans, presumably.
No, it'll be the volume, the sound. The music playing, or
is it the music, or do you mean the actual
sound coming from the speakers
device itself, or do you mean sounds coming out there? So at the moment, are we annoying your wife, Lewis, with our loud voices? Have you got it turned up too high?
Well, maybe you are.
I think you're right. It's probably just not the box itself making a noise. The speakers.
Inaki says, my partner is passionate about leaving the doors of the wardrobes and other things open. Steve does that. He goes into the kitchen.
Wardrobe doors open?
Can I just carry on?
Yeah.
That's another annoying thing, by the way. He doesn't let me finish my sentences.
Pardon? I don't know what you're talking about.
Steve goes into the kitchen sometimes and he will go into the drawers in the kitchen and then he leaves them open. And then I have to go in. You do. You see, you don't realise you do these things. You sometimes do these things. Steve often criticises me also for leaving lights on in the house, maybe in the garage.
Well, lights. You see that I'm so. What's the word? I was going to use the word anal, but I won't.
Fastidious.
Fastidious. You see, now most of the lights are low energy.
Yes.
So actually leaving them on isn't really a problem. If modern LED lights, they're about 5 watts or something, aren't they?
Okay.
If you leave those on, it's not really going to have a big impact on your electricity bill, apart from the ones in the garage, which are 60 watt each. They're fluorescent bulbs. I want to replace them for low energy LEDs, but the trouble is, so if they're left that's quite a lot of wattage left going. So it just annoys me.
Yeah.
But I don't want to spend money on replacing them until the bulbs have blown, because I think, well, I'm going to spend £50 on a new light. I'm never going to get that money back in electricity savings, so I'll wait till it breaks.
Yes. Well, fluorescent are the very long ones, and I always find those slightly annoying because they sometimes take a long time to actually come on.
Yeah, that is annoying.
They normally go beep, 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 bing. They take ages.
Particularly when they're cold, like in the winter. You go down, you switch them on. It takes ages for them. That is very annoying. So maybe I'll just get rid of it. Maybe now I'm working again, I can afford it. I'll just get rid of the old fluorescent bulbs, which are full of mercury anyway, and get some modern ones. And Mr. Duncan can leave them on all day, and it won't matter because there's very low wattage.
You can get modern fluorescent lights anyway that don't have to do that. They come straight on, like the one in our kitchen.
Yeah, so that's LED.
That's wonderful, you say. I love that one. I love that light. It's lovely.
That one broke. It's an LED, Mr. Duncan. It's only 5 watts.
You have to change them all now, Steve. That's it. Then I can leave the lights on in the garage all night.
But the trouble is, when you leave if you leave the lights on and the garage door open, all the flies and moths come in.
But not in winter.
I know, but they not in winter, no. But of course, it gets dark, in the spring at 8 o'clock or something, and then I come back, the lights are on, and there's flies and moths everywhere. But anyway,
they're all flying into Mr. Steve's wallet.
Yes,
to nest for the winter. The sun's back out. We were having rain a few minutes ago, and now the sun is back out. Isn't that nice? So the weather keeps changing today.
Yes. So keep it coming with your annoyances. So it doesn't have to be your partner that's annoying. Maybe like things annoy you, like we said, fluorescent bulbs that take a long time to come on. That annoys me. I switch it on. I've got to step down into the but at last it's come on. It's just so annoying. Yes. I just want to smash them to pieces. I will do one day.
There are many annoying things, I suppose. Anyway, we're trying to keep it positive. In a few moments, we are looking at words and phrases connected to fire, because today is November the 5th, where a lot of people commemorate the attempt. So they were not successful. They attempted to blow up the houses of Parliament. Wait there, Steve, before I'm showing something now.
Well, while you're doing that, I can say what I was going to say, can't I?
No, I'm going to play a video.
Okay.
Okay, Steve. So in a few moments, I love the format of this show. It's brilliant. In a few moments, we are talking about words and phrases connected to fire with myself and also Mr. Steve. But first, here is a short video talking all about that actual subject. Can you see what I'm doing today? I'm preparing to light a fire. I have some old wood and garden debris to dispose of. To start a fire, you need some dry material that will light easily. Paper is the most common material used, or small pieces of wood will also do the job. The material used to start a fire is called kindling. You use kindling to start the fire. Kindling establishes the fire. There is also the word kindle, which means to start a fire. Kindling is a noun, while kindle is a verb. I will use a match to start the fire. I will strike the match and light the paper. This will start the fire. The paper will ignite. The word ignite comes from the Latin word for fire. We sometimes use the word pyro to describe something related to fire. For example, a person who is addicted to starting fires can be called a pyromaniac. The most obvious parts of a fire are the flames and smoke. Can you see the flames? The movement of the flames cannot be predicted. Flames move randomly. We can use the word lick to describe the movement of a fire's flame. The flames licked around the doorframe. A flame flickers. We can describe the flame on a candle as a flickering flame. A flame can shimmer, flicker, glow, dance. The fire I'm lighting today will be safely contained. This container is called an incinerator. You burn things in an incinerator. The inside of the incinerator will become very hot. To keep the fire under control, I must put this lid on it. Now the fire will burn steadily and remain safe. The small hole in the centre of the lid allows the smoke to escape in a controlled way, just like the chimney on a house would. Fires are fun to watch, but they can also be very dangerous, especially if they get out of control. After the fire has gone out, there is normally some debris left. This grey-looking substance is called ash. This is all that is left of what was burned. You can also put out a fire using water. This action can be described as extinguish. You extinguish the fire. You put the fire out. You have extinguished the flames. The fire has been put out.
And there it was, an excerpt from one of my English lessons all about fire, which happens to be today's subject. Every week we are here from 2 p.m. It's myself, Mr. Duncan, and him, Mr. Steve. And today we are looking at fire. How's the live chat doing, Mr. Steve?
Yes, it's on fire.
Yeah,
if you say something, for example, if I said the live chat's on fire,
okay,
it just means there's a lot going on.
Well, there is the first.
Lively, lots of comments.
That's it.
Things like that, yes.
That's also on my list, by the way.
Is it? Oh, well, we're getting through your list already, but we haven't got long, have we? So, but can I mention a phrase that somebody used there?
Yeah.
From It's Me, A Prodigal Son, I think we all know who that is, has used a very good phrase there, to rekindle a friendship. So, if you rekindle a friendship or a relationship, it means just like you're starting the fire slowly, you want to get it going again. You want to get it going from a small base, a small little start, just get some little sparks going, a few flames, and eventually you're hoping it'll develop into a full fire or a really good relationship again.
Yes, well, means again.
Means again.
So you are relighting. So imagine relighting a fire, reignite. So you want that friendship to come back. You want to build that friendship again. Maybe you had a disagreement.
Maybe it was extinguished.
If you're
Yes.
going to carry on the fire theme, you could say that a particular friendship was extinguished, finished, something happened, an argument or something.
It was put out.
It was put out.
Ended.
And, you know,
Anyway, here we
who's
go.
going to light the match?
Here we go,
That's
Steve.
the question.
Look at this. This is very dramatic. I've gone really all the way today with this. Fire, words and phrases. You can see there is a blaze taking place underneath us. So we have something to keep us warm. Oh, that's actually that's quite nice. That's nice and warm, that is. It's keeping me warm today. Isn't that lovely? So when we talk about words and phrases connected to fire, here is the first one. And Mr. Steve did give a small clue. If you are on fire. So this can be used figuratively to mean a person is doing something with a lot of energy, or maybe they are doing it with a lot of skill. Maybe they are doing it really well. Maybe something is busy, as Steve said. So you might say that the live chat today is on fire. There is a lot going on. Something is on fire.
You might be having a meeting at work and there's a group of you in the room and you've all got to come up with ideas about how to move the business forward or something like that. And one person keeps coming out with ideas all the time, and then somebody else might say, wow, you're on fire today. So you're coming up with lots of ideas, you're lively, your brain is working. That's often that phrase is used commonly in sort of work situations. Oh, you're on fire today, getting a lot done, a lot of ideas. You're sort of, really going for it.
Yes. All of the things are happening in the right way. We're on fire. Maybe in a relationship, you might say two people are on fire together if they get along really well. Or, of course, there could be an opposite meaning as well, but that's for another time. If you are on fire, of course, you are actually burning. Something is burning.
Literally.
Your house is on fire. It is burning. It is being consumed by fire. So you can use that literally when something is actually burning, or figuratively to mean something that is being done very well or with a lot of enthusiasm and energy, like today's live stream. I think we are on fire.
We're on fire, Mr. Duncan. Yeah, nothing can stop us today.
Yes. Here's another one, Steve. Another word.
Oh, right, okay.
What?
Is Saturino's put one in there, which is quite good. Is that in your examples?
No,
coming
you can say whatever you want, Steve.
That's a good one, Saturino. You can be fired from your job. You're fired.
Yes.
It's the same as getting the sack.
Yeah. It's kind of used as a verb. So in that sense, you are imagine a cannonball. You put the cannonball in the cannon, and the cannonball is fired.
You're gone.
So that means the person is also fired. They are being told to leave. They have to go away. We don't want you anymore. We are firing you. We are putting you outside the building. We don't want to see you ever again.
You never want anybody to say that to you
No.
because it means that you've probably done something very catastrophically wrong.
Yes.
To make you useless at work, or you might have hit somebody or been rude to somebody.
Yes. Or maybe you're just rubbish at your job.
Maybe you're just rubbish at your job.
Like I was once when I was fired. So I have been fired from jobs. Here's another one, Steve. To be fired up.
Yes.
Ooh, if you are fired up, it means you are excited to do something. You have lots of energy and enthusiasm. You are fired up. I'm ready to go. I can't wait to do today's live stream because I'm all fired up.
You're in the moment. You've got lots of energy. You're really excited about something. I'm fired up. You can say that if you go for a job interview. So I've forgotten who it was who was talking about job interviews earlier.
I think it was Tom, wasn't it? Can't remember. I think it was Tom. Yes, if you're going for a job interview, or you can fire yourself up. I've got to fire myself up. You've got to get some energy. Maybe you do some positive thinking phrases, or you do a bit of exercise or something like that. So to get yourself going, to fire yourself up.
Yes.
Or you are fired up because you could be naturally fired up because you're excited.
Yes. You might be performing in front of a crowd, and you get the crowd fired up because they all become excited and enthusiastic. To be fired up, you are ready to go. You are so enthusiastic.
Yes, you fire up a laptop.
Yes.
Or if you start a bit of equipment going, you can say, "Oh, let's fire up the TV." You could say that, couldn't you? Or
Yeah.
fire up the laptop. It just means you're starting something. When would you use that? Fire up.
Well, I often use it when I come in here to start all my equipment. I often say I fire up the studio.
yes.
So I'm starting, or I'm activating all of the equipment in here. So quite often this room is dark and quiet, but I come in here and then I start to turn the lights on, I start the computer, and suddenly everything is happening. So I fire up the studio.
You could fire up you could go in, you could be the first one in at work. Let's fire up the office. Put the lights on, put the equipment on. It's just like you're going around with a flame, lighting things everywhere, just getting things going, getting things moving.
So to fire up or to be fired up means to be enthusiastic. Here we go, Steve. We all have one of these, an old flame.
Oh.
Of course, when we talk about flame, we talk about the orange flicker of the fire itself, flame. And an old flame is a person you used to be romantically connected with.
Yes.
So maybe a person you used to date, or you used to go out with, or maybe you had a relationship with them, a very close personal relationship. You were in love, but then
I think it's, yes.
you decided to go your separate ways, and that person is now your old flame.
You might meet your old flame.
Yes.
You might meet somebody from a long time ago, and people, you're with a group of people and somebody comes along, they haven't seen them before, but people can tell that there was something used to go on in it, and somebody might say, "Oh, who's that?" You seem to know them. You say, "Oh, that's an old flame."
Yes.
So, they know that you were romantically involved.
There is nothing more awkward and difficult than meeting a person you used to be romantically connected to, maybe a person you used to date, and you meet them in the street, and normally the conversation is very awkward. "Oh, hi, you're looking good. Oh, you too, you're looking good. Yeah, how's things then?" But really what you want to know is if your old flame has a new flame. You want to find out if that person is seeing someone new. So it is always an interesting situation when you suddenly meet a person you used to be romantically connected to. I find that a very interesting situation.
I think you can say I've got a new flame, can't you?
Yes.
If you new relationship, you tend to use the word old flame.
It's unusual to use new flame.
Yes.
In fact, I've never heard it used.
I have. But you probably, maybe we could start something. I've got a new flame.
Yeah.
I'm in a new relationship.
Of course, if someone is attractive, you can describe them as smoking hot.
Yes.
So a person who is very attractive and beautiful, like myself, you might say Mr. Duncan is smoking hot.
Smoking hot usually refers to sort of, sexuality. They're very sexy, doesn't it? Smoking hot.
Yes.
Somebody you'd want to literally.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, Steve.
Well,
there are people of all ages watching.
I know. Well, I'm not. Well, I wasn't going to.
So a person who you were romantically connected to. Now here is another one. This is just for Mr. Steve. The next one. What's wrong now?
Nothing. Carry on. I'll tell you afterwards.
burn out. So this is one for Mr. Steve. You can explain this one.
Burnout, that's when you work so hard at you're doing too much. Well, there's another one, burning the candle at both ends. Have you got that one?
I'll do this one first.
Yes. That's when you burn out. You've worked so hard for so long. You've got too much adrenaline, and in order to keep going, in order to keep working, you have to miss sleep, and you have to maybe drink too much coffee, and you don't relax enough. And eventually your body, because it's had too much adrenaline and cortisol going through it, it gives up and you burn out. You literally become totally drained of energy, emotionally, physically, and you have to take a period of time off work to recover. And you might even need some psychological help.
It can also happen with being here on YouTube, being a YouTube publisher. You can sometimes burn yourself out. You run out of energy, you run out of ideas. That has never happened to me in my 17 years here on YouTube. I've never actually burnt myself out. I've been very close to it. So to burn out means you just run out of energy. You've used all of your energy. You are exhausted. You have burnt out.
We all know it's very common now, actually. It didn't used to be. You never used to hear of people burning out when I was growing up. But now, because the working environment has changed dramatically.
Yes, that's good.
People always used to have long lunch breaks. And quite often they didn't often do that much work in the afternoon, or they might go on the golf course with a client. My father used to do that. There wasn't much, but now everyone's working every minute of the day, it seems. I mean, they don't like you to take lunch breaks anymore. On the continent, of course, when I say the continent, I mean Europe. In many countries, they do take long breaks, like in France they do in the afternoon, don't they? I don't know whether they do so much now.
Oh, no, it still happens.
But certainly in Spain and other places, the famous siesta that we've heard about a lot in the UK. I mean, yes, they might have to work in the evening as well, but at least you've had a break.
So I think these days, I think moving on, these days, I think, would you say, Steve, that people are more stressed than they used to be?
I think they are, because everyone's bombarded. See, what's happened is that businesses want to become more and more efficient to generate more profits. So they get rid of people. They slim down the workforce. So whoever remains has got to work harder.
Yes.
And there doesn't seem to be much capacity in this global world we live in now.
A global world, yes.
Competition from all around the world. You're not just doing business in your country anymore. You've got to be. You're very competitive. I mean, it's always been competitive, but things are much faster moving pace now, and I don't think that the people can keep up with it sometimes. So you do hear of burnout a lot. I mean, lots of bosses I've had, openly admit now that they've had burnout, they've had psychological problems, they've got to be other stress, anxiety builds up. Because you don't take breaks or you never switch off mentally.
Yes, I think there is a lot more pressure generally in life.
Yes, but that's burnout anyway.
And that could cause you to burn out.
Yes, so you've got to recognise this. People talk about it a lot now, mental health at work, to try and prevent burnout. People are talking about it a lot more.
Here's another one, Steve. Something will go up in flames. To go up in flames. Now, this also can be used literally, but also figuratively. If something goes up in flames, it means it catches fire. It is destroyed or consumed by fire. However, maybe you have a plan for your future. Maybe you have something that you really want to do in your life, but then you realise that there is no chance of it ever happening. You can say that your dreams or your ambition, they go up in flames.
Or in smoke. You can say that as well, can't you? My plans have just gone up in smoke.
Yes.
Or gone up in flames. It means they've been trashed, they've gone. You've got to start again.
Yes.
Yes, it's quite a descriptive phrase.
Yes, it's very dramatic. To go up in flames.
Yes, you might have somebody. You might have, I don't know. You might have a plan. You might have met some people, some friends a while ago, and you told them of your plans for the future. You want to move house, get married, get a new job, and then you meet up with them 6 months later, and they say, "How's it gone?" You say, "Oh, all my plans just went up in flames or went up in smoke because something happened." Life gets in the way. Events that are out of your control mean that you can't do your plan. You can't pursue your original goals, so you've got to do new ones.
It happens quite a lot in life. Here's another one, Steve. Oh, what about feel the heat? You feel the heat. So this also could be work-related. Maybe you're in a situation or a position where perhaps there is a lot of pressure on you to do well or succeed. So you might say that you are feeling the heat. You are under some sort of tension or pressure, quite often at work.
Yes, yes, you can. I think that's quite a American phrase. Would you say?
I think
I'm feeling the heat. You're feeling pressure. Yes.
Yes, I think it's used more as well here.
Stress due to maybe you've got a lot of things to do at work, so it's causing you a bit of stress, a bit of tension. You're feeling the heat. You're feeling the pressure, or literally the heat from excess work, a lot of workload that might be on you.
So quite often, if you are under pressure, you feel as if there is a need for you to do very well. You can say that you are feeling the heat, you are feeling the pressure.
Lewis said that he's suffering burnout, SAD, seasonal affective disorder, which is they think that's to do with lack of light, don't they?
Well, it's a lack of vitamin D, because when you don't get light, you lots of ways that your body reacts to these things.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, SAD is just a lack of light, is what they think, Mr. Duncan. Got to correct you there. So yes, that's it. They used to talk about it a lot, but I'm not sure whether it's lost a bit of credibility now. That theory, because you used to be able to buy these light boxes.
But you can still buy them.
Yes, where you sort of sit in front of a bright light that's supposed to mimic the same wavelengths as the sun.
Yes, they still sell them on Amazon.
They do. I'm not sure whether I need to look that up, Lewis, actually, because I did read something somewhere recently to suggest that that might not be something that is looked upon in medical terms as being a credible thing anymore, but I might be wrong.
So what else could you do?
What?
Well, if you can't use the light box, if that's not useful, what else could you do, for example?
Well, I mean that's why they say get outside and get light. But I'm not sure whether they think that lack of light really is a cause of sort of. It's not really burnout. It's more they used to say it used to give people a very low mood. So which isn't quite the same as burnout. A form of depression maybe due to lack of light in the winter months.
Yes. It's often seasonal.
Seasonal. So in the summer. So obviously now in France, probably like here, very little light going on. But you do lots of exercise, Lewis. So I would imagine maybe, try a light box, see if it works. But I mean, it's connected with what you said, vitamin D, in that in the winter months, if you're not getting exposure to the sun, you won't get enough vitamin D. So maybe try a supplement.
Yes.
Anyway,
I like the fact we're giving medical advice.
I am. Vitamin D is a serious thing that people are lacking in many countries.
Anyway, feel the heat, feel the pressure. You feel under pressure. Oh, now this is it's not a good sentence, but it can be used in a negative way and a positive way. To set the world on fire. So this might sound quite violent and destructive, but if a person sets the world on fire, we can also say something. Oh, it's gone back on now. That's good. That was close. So to set the world on fire, it means to do something that makes a big impression. maybe a person has a lot of energy. It's very similar to the one earlier, to be fired up. So to set the world on fire is to be quite impressive, and you make changes that are felt. Of course, it can also mean something negative. Maybe a person who wants to set the world on fire. Some people just want to destroy things because they're not happy. Maybe they just want to see destruction around them. So you could, I suppose, use that in different ways. But we often talk about setting the world on fire as being something that makes changes.
I think you've got to realise as well that everybody's got different, when it comes to sort of burnout and things like that, everyone's got different levels of ability to cope with that. We're not all the same. And the trouble is some people get stressed and then they use alcohol or drugs, don't they, to try and alleviate their stress, which of course is going to cause problems further down the line.
Anyway,
everyone's got their own limits.
We've got to move on, Steve.
Yes.
So another one. We've had this word already, ignite. I think this is a great word. I don't know why. When you say it, ignite, it sounds dramatic. And that's because it is, because something will start burning. You ignite something, as we saw earlier, to light a fire, to start a fire. Ignite comes from the word fire, to start something that is burning, to start a fire, to produce the flames, to start the fire burning, to ignite. So I suppose in a way you might ignite an idea. You can suddenly have an idea. Wow, like a spark going off inside your brain. Suddenly you have a great idea.
You could ignite a relationship, can't you?
Oh.
As well.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure where you'd use that in a phrase, but you can do. Definitely.
Oh, okay. Ignite, to start something, to start a fire, to start the flames burning. There was that very famous song many years ago by Billy Joel. We didn't start the fire.
Somebody mentioned that earlier.
Yes, very good song. And it's a great song because it goes through all of the tragedies, the mistakes and the disasters that have occurred in humanity over the past maybe 40 or 50 years. So it is a very good song and still a classic from Billy Joel. He's still performing, by the way, and I think he's around 70 now, but still going strong. Ignite. Here's another one, Steve. So this is a medical one, the next one. Inflame.
Inflame.
Inflame. So we can use this in many ways, can't we?
We can.
Yes. So we can use it to show how something is being affected. We can use it as the medical term for something that has become infected, or maybe something that has swollen and is painful. So inflame. You can also use it to show that something has been made worse as well. You might inflame a situation. You are making that thing worse.
Deliberately. Yeah, so there could be an argument going on between two people, and you then start to say things which can inflame the situation. So you might say something that annoys one or of the other people are having an argument because it seems like you're taking sides, and somebody might, two people might be having an argument and you say, well, I need to go over there and try and stop that. But somebody else might say, don't go over there. You'll only inflame the situation, meaning that you're going to say something which is just going to make things get worse. And quite often we see that in conflicts, don't we, around the world as well? That other countries will deliberately do something to make things worse. They'll inflame the situation. So just like if you get inflammation, you usually get a red, don't you? If you get inflammation, it means that it goes red. Part of your skin, you might have inflammation. It goes red.
It swells.
Red's the colour of fire.
It becomes painful.
Yeah, so you're causing your actions or somebody else's actions can make a situation that's already bad worse in some way by either saying something or by something you do, maybe deliberately or inadvertently.
Inaki says, inflame the masses. Yes, you might make a group of people angry. You inflame the crowd. You are causing them to become angry.
And of course, this is how leaders often control people by saying something that might not be right about another group of people, thus inflaming all their population to rise up and fight them or something.
Another phrase you can use, of course, is fan the flames, which means that you are causing the fire to become worse. So that is another good phrase. If you fan the flames, it means you are causing the fire to become worse. So again, you can use it figuratively. You are making a situation much worse than it was. You inflame the situation.
Fan the flames?
I just said it.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah, I thought you just said it. Yes, good. Well done.
And finally, you will be pleased to hear, to have a burning ambition. To have ambition, something that is burning. Now again, this is interesting, Steve, because this can also be medical, something that is burning. So it can be a sensation. Maybe if your hand is hot, you might say that it's burning. It's too hot. Or maybe something that is very painful. But to have a burning ambition means something that you really want to do. Maybe something that you have in your heart that you would really like to do very much.
Burning ambition, something it's like a fire inside you that won't die down. It's an itch. It's something that you really want to do. I have a burning ambition to be a famous singer, or I have a burning ambition to start my own business, or something like that. It means that it's like you've got this fire inside you that wants to do something.
It's true, yes. It's a good one, actually, to have a burning ambition. And we all have one. I think when you're young, we often have some sort of burning ambition. And some of us find that ambition, that we manage to actually do it, and some people don't. But to have a burning ambition.
What about no smoke without fire? Have we done that one?
We haven't done it, and we're not going to do it, but we can talk about it.
Okay.
No smoke without fire. Maybe if something is done or appears to have been done, and then later it is proven that that person did not do that thing, or it didn't happen, a person might still believe that individual or that person is responsible in some way, even though all of the claims against them have been dismissed. So maybe you go to court or you go on trial for a serious offence, but they find you not guilty. So you walk away, you are free, but other people still doubt that you are innocent. They will say, there is no smoke without fire.
Yes, it's often a phrase that's used. That somebody's accused of something. It might be in a group of friends or somebody at work. Maybe somebody at work somebody says, "Oh, such and such, he keeps trying to chat me up all the time."
Okay.
Or he's done something inappropriate or something like that, because you know what it's like in the workplace now. You've got to be very careful what you do, otherwise you're being accused of inappropriate behaviour. And there's no proof of it. But somebody else overhears the conversation and says, "Oh, well, you know what they say, there's no smoke without fire."
Okay.
So in other words, if there's some whiff of something going on, or they might say the business is about to, we've heard that we're going to be taken over by another company.
The business hasn't been doing very well. There's going to be a takeover, and you don't be ridiculous, you might say, but somebody else might say, "Oh, there's no smoke without fire." So the rumour starts. There's a little puff of smoke, but there might be a big fire underneath there, waiting to ignite. In other words, what you're saying might be true.
Yes. Well, what you're saying is the effect is obvious, so there must be a cause. That's what it's almost the reverse. You are saying that there is an effect, so there must somewhere be the cause underneath. There is no smoke without fire. That is a good one. Well, I think we've covered quite a few of those today. I have to say, we've done quite a few of those.
Thank you for your messages in the live chat to help us along with the subject. We always welcome that.
It's very nice to see you here today. We have a lovely day weather-wise, and I have a feeling we might be going out for a little walk. What do you think, Steve?
Yes. Let's go out there and there's no smoke without fire, Mr. Duncan.
What? That doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense. We're going out for a walk.
I have a burning ambition today to go outside.
Why not?
And maybe I will meet an old flame.
Not around here.
And maybe we will reignite our relationship.
Well, that really truly would be a miracle.
And there would be a lot of smoke and fire, and maybe a little bit of steam as well. Ooh.
Therefore, you just said earlier, there's people of all ages watching.
Well, that's suggestive. It's not direct. So, what? Okay, Steve. So today is firework night or day. So tonight lots of people will be letting off their fireworks because it is the 5th of November. As I said earlier, we often commemorate a certain event that took place. The 5th of November. Remember the 5th of November. Gunpowder, treason and plot. I see no reason why the 5th of November should ever be forgot. Of course, you can also say the gunpowder treason. Gunpowder treason. When they tried to blow up the Houses of Parliament. I think that's it for today, Steve.
They're trying to get rid of that. Have you noticed in the news now? They're trying to make this something that we don't do every year, which is, of course, what the woke brigade are trying to do now. They're trying to take
Steve.
away all the... They say, no, we can't do that anymore. It's hundreds of years ago. We can't celebrate that anymore. It's not appropriate. Get lost.
Okay.
We've been doing it all our lives and we're going to carry on doing it.
Fine. And on that note, we will say thank you very much for watching us today. We are now going. I hope we can have a little walk and get some of that lovely sunshine, and then it will hopefully prevent us from becoming sad.
Seasonal affective disorder.
We hope.
We don't want any of that.
I will be back on Wednesday from 2 p.m. UK time, and we will have a little chat. We will have a little bit of fun. We will have some new words. We will have a lot of this.
And we hope that that by coming on this live stream, then you will forget all your woes and all your worries and any sadness and any SAD, and you will enjoy yourself, at least for this short period of time that we are on.
We are a ray of sunshine, I hope.
Not, exactly. We don't want to douse the flames.
Not a grey cloud. We are not grey clouds. We are rays of sunshine. Thank you very much. See you on Wednesday. By the way, if you want to make a donation, you are more than welcome to do so. I'll put that on the screen very quickly because I'm sometimes asked about it. So here it is now. There it is. If you want to make a donation to help my work continue forever, because I do all of this for free, and I have done for the past 17 years.
Yes, please don't think Mr. Steve's working again now. So,
No. Anyway.
He's got enough money to fund Mr. Duncan's equipment. The answer is no, because I've got my own bills to pay. So, yeah. Everything is Mr. Duncan will greatly appreciate to help him keep going.
Thank you very much. See you very soon. And of course, until the next time we meet here, that's Mr. Steve and myself. And yes, I have noticed that Steve is not wearing his ring I'm wearing mine.
I only wear it when I go out of the house.
Yes, but you should be wearing it on the live stream as well.
Because in the house, you see, when I go out of the house, I'm telling everybody, look, don't come near this. I'm married. But when I'm in the house, I'm with you, so I don't,
Yes, but what about out there? There might be someone who develops an infatuation for you. Maybe they become hot.
Wouldn't be the first time.
They become hot for Mr. Steve.
Hot? Oh, yes. There
Yes.
maybe a relationship is being rekindled.
Ignited.
Ignited. Yes, that's right. Well, we haven't got a certain person on who,
Okay.
give you the hots.
Okay, Steve?
That's, yeah, exactly.
To give someone the hots is to get them very excited over a person's appearance.
Pedro's not on today.
Anyway, Steve.
I wonder what happened to Pedro.
Do
No,
what?
I'm just going to say.
Well,
Pedro had a court case, didn't he? Come on, Pedro. Let us know
what a
what's
strange
going on.
way of ending the live stream. I don't know, Steve.
Mr. Steve might have sold his ring.
I think he may have. He may have. For
Right, okay.
maybe he's trying to get a Ford Mustang.
We're only joking on here.
Or maybe just the steering wheel from a Ford Mustang.
Look, don't take us too seriously on here. We're joking, it's banter. Anyway, right.
I'm not joking. Catch you later. See you on Wednesday, 2 p.m. UK time. And of course, you know what's coming next. Are you ready, Mr. Steve?
I'm ready.
Ta-ta for now. He's brilliant.